Welcome, jesters. So our friends are on the left are all excited about Katie Hobbs, governor of Arizona, by executive fiat, like an authoritarian would, wiping away $2 billion in medical debt held by the citizens of Arizona. And they just could not be more giddy about this. But yeah, of course, none of them really look into how this was done. And this is not something that's unusual, by the way. She's not really creating something new. But there's more to it than what they think, and probably more to it than what she thinks. Well, actually, you know what? Let's just say it this way. There's definitely more involved for her and the charity that's involved in this, but that's beside the point. You know, can we get this kid out there? Anyway, so they say $2 billion. Yes and no. Yes, $2 billion eventually might be erased, but they're not paying the providers for this work. What's happening is the providers are agreeing to sell this unsecured debt to this organization who's not putting up, apparently, any of their own money. It is all taxpayer money. And then they will simply waive the debt, which is their legal right to do so after they have bought it, right? And where is this money coming from? Well, fortunately, right, there's not any taxes, new taxes on the Arizona people. It's pandemic relief funds. Yes, 6 years later, they're still spending pandemic relief funds. 6 years later, right? So yeah, I guess they didn't really need it back then during that whole thing anyway, but again, a completely separate topic. However, so what they're doing, yes, they're buying the debt and then they're erasing it. Okay, perfectly legal, but my friends on the left, I hate to break it to you, this is just a giant tax scam. Really, it is. These write-offs that the former owners of the debt, the medical companies, the hospitals, whatever, they are going to use this as write-offs for tax purposes. Really, that's it. It's basically a government subsidy or a loophole, whatever you want to call it, because you seem to hate both of those, that they are going to benefit from, right? If they are a for-profit provider, a for-profit hospital, they're just going to use this as a simple write-off to reduce their taxable income, which then cuts their taxes. Or if they are a non-profit, which there's really no such thing, they are simply going to use this to meet the charitable care and community benefit requirement that the IRS has in order to maintain their tax-exempt status. So they are definitely getting something out of it at the government's expense. As usual, and I've said this before, these corporations, even if they're nonprofit, they're smarter than the bureaucrats, right? And in this particular case, to be honest, I honestly think there's going to be some back and forth going on. But anyway, that's beside the point. Also, if these hospitals have like side businesses, which they do, providing services to other providers, that could be taxable income, which they're now going to get to write down with writing off all of this unsecured debt, thanks to the government, right? And, that just leads us to another question about, what is a nonprofit? And should there be nonprofits? Because, if our friends on the left really realized the scale of what was going on here, I think they would have a problem with it, right? Just according to some AMA or AAHA, American Hospital Association figures, they say about 58% of hospital revenue, I think it's hospital revenue or medical revenue in this country, is done by nonprofits, which means it is not taxable, right? And if you consider that about $1.5 trillion is about the size of healthcare in the United States, that means there is $900 billion of business income that is not taxable. Simply because, right, they get government to buy their debt, write it off, and they're considered charities, so they don't have to pay any taxes. And again, if only 58%, how can the other 40% be for profit, right? Explain this. Explain how $900 billion of corporate revenue, and these are corporations, is somehow tax exempt, right? And don't think that they are doing this for altruistic reasons. These are corporations. They're very large corporations, and they still pay their executives very, very well because there are no rules on compensation. They can pay their entire executive staff market rate, millions of dollars, to stay tax exempt and exempt $900 billion of revenue from the government. Yes. Oh, and by the way, don't you just think that by letting the hospitals sell this debt, it just justifies keeping the prices higher for everybody? Right? Because they're not taking a loss on this. They are realizing a benefit from this sale, right? This is not some altruistic thing that they're doing. They are benefiting very, very richly from this action. And let's be honest, these people that are having their debt waived, it doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter. They could have just waited it out until it expired, depending on how it was handled. But they're not paying it now. It's probably not really affecting their credit because they probably can't have any. This is going to stay on their credit report, depending on the state. So realistically, who is benefiting from this other than the giant corporations and Katie Hobbs? Really? Yeah, so basically they're just leveraging a giant, overcomplicated financial scheme that the giant hospital corporations pay through lobbyists. This is just another quid pro quo bailout between the wealthy elite and the political class. And you know I'm right.